Watkins Glen International, in the best of conditions, is a fast and formidable racetrack. But when it's covered in rain, the grip level falls down to nothing. But here's the good news. We're drifting at Watkins Glen this afternoon, and that means the grip was a byproduct anyway. We only need a little bit of it for drift. I'm Kyle Heyer, joined by Charlie Enslin. Charlie, welcome back. This is our last drift session on stream. There's a couple takers out there. We're going to see them go sideways one more time here this weekend.
There is, and you can see how the conditions have really changed out there today, so I'm enjoying this session while I get to sit in this nice warm booth with you for a couple more minutes before I go back out into the rain.
Yeah, the dreary, cool weather we've had here. It is a spring, a normal spring morning here or afternoon here at Watkins Glen International. It's typical of this region this time of the year, but of course GRIDLIFE's coverage is powered by Hyundai N. Hyundai N, never just drive. And Falcon, the official tire of GRIDLIFE Track Battle. Here they come though, Charlie, down the hill into turn
like
one.
They're stacking up a little bit here this time too.
They are, and it is raining right now. It is wetter than it was.
Raining, but here we go, three cars all entering roughly the same area. Try and close the gap, watch the angle.
Nicely done. They're getting closer and closer.
Try and stack up and go up the hill here.
They might just follow each other up to the bus stop, but we'll expect to see that bus stop, inner loop, outer loop drift that we've kind of seen a handful of drivers figure out, Charlie. And that's kind of been the hot spot for the action here this weekend, is up by the bus stop. But there's going through the S's just a little bit, testing the waters, figuratively and literally.
I think we're seeing the comfort level go way, way, way up this last second to last session here of the day.
Yep. So down the backstretch and then into the bus stop. This is where we're going to see them hang things out pretty sideways, I would expect. But the conditions are as bad as they've been all day, visibility-wise.
The wipers on the cars are full tilt.
Yep.
But hats off to the Extreme Graphics crew here, putting on a show for all of our fans, still hanging out. Whoa, really throwing it in.
Great
nice
looking,
clean, yeah.
Great
nice.
looking line, and they can just hang this out here all the way to the outer loop now. Get that throttle, feed the throttle back in.
A little bit of e-brake.
There we go.
Foot brake. Beautiful. Look at the scenic.
Great looking shot there as they come up out of turn 5 and then down into the boot at turn 6. They're going to disappear out of view for a little while here, Charlie, but this has been an interesting track to drift, and we've really located two areas that are really optimal for it. Turns 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then here, the bus stop, and there's a little too much.
Nice save.
Got it woed all the way down into the grass. And here's the funny thing. Grass is usually very slippery in the wet, Charlie, but in a situation like that at such low speed, the grass actually might help you stop, funnily enough, with the pavement so slick as it is, and he's going to get right back into it.
Right back into it. That's how you do it.
And we've watched him. His car has been very snappy.
Yep.
In both the initial entry and in the return back to center.
It seems like it really wants us to stay centered.
Which would be great if he was in track battle.
Maybe.
but certainly trying to keep it sideways, and it does not want to stay that way, it seems.
I wonder, it could even be a power issue. Maybe it's cutting out and we just can't hear it, and it's straightening back out at him.
Yep. But only a handful of takers in this session, Charlie, but they're going to get their money's worth here as they head around turn 10 and 11 and come back to the start-finish line here in a moment.
Yeah, how cool. For a rare opportunity to have Watkins Glen to yourself to drift around.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty empty, and that's it's on the track right now, and that gives you the opportunity to pretty much treat it like a blank canvas. Here we go into 10. This is the corner complex. I thought we'd be drifting, but they found better spots, but they're going to go for it here.
They're going for it. And 3 cars all stacked up. 2 S14s chased by an S13.
And then
all LS powered cars.
Yep, and then into turn 11 and the back up the front straight. And this is that challenging section we've been watching them navigate from turn 1 all the way back around.
Really beautiful.
Nicely done. And here we go down the front stretch into turn 1. This has been the most challenging corner, I think, of all.
Absolutely. It looks like we're going to get a change of lead driver here.
All right, so step on the brakes. Give it a little clutch kick. You probably don't even need to do that. Just goose the throttle, and you already see how much it'll slide.
Yeah, look at that.
Gravity assist heading down the hill.
That was a pretty aggressive entry. You can see the other 2 cars more e-brake entry, kind of keep it clean. Nice Manji here. The blue S chassis really hanging it out.
And then up the
hill. You can see just wants to suck you up towards that wall.
But even coming down the hill, we saw it when he got sideways. I mean, it was just sliding downhill like a sled, almost uncontrolled.
Ice, yeah,
and then he got it swung back around the right direction, and then he was able to follow the camber with the power and keep it under him, at least up the hill that time. So I think, Charlie, as we've seen, I mean, when the grip levels are down this low, we started kind of thinking Watkins Glen was undriftable. And now we've gotten to the point where it's driftable. You're going to need a ton of power or less grip, and we've got both of those things right now.
You need to have some pretty quick hands out here today, too. Old wet hands is what I like to say.
Is that a statement? Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's a real thing.
Okay. I don't know about that one.
Wow.
Rolling through the bus stop now. He's going to correct to the outer loop. And some of the drivers are getting right out to the edge of the road, but middle
on the
track.
power, see if you grab some e-brake, extend it.
Woo! Got plenty of angle that time.
Right in the, you like found the pocket there in that corner with that camber like that.
Yep, and then straightens it right up right as he comes down into turn number 6. Well done. And there's a couple other cars. I saw that BRZ out there, and you were talking about the Supra that we saw yesterday. Charlie, tell me a little bit about what you found out.
Yeah, I understand why they're not running, but we did see a Supra out here yesterday morning in that first dry session. Kind of just looked like it had a livery on it, but I did go looking to talk to all the drivers that are participating this weekend, and it turned out to be a car that was built in Ukraine by some Ukrainians during the wartime who got it over to Poland to do some testing to get it over to the States to compete in Formula Drift this year. And it's a carbon Kevlar Supra A90 with a GTR power plant with a sequential, 2,000 horsepower capable.
So you're saying it's a budget build?
I'm saying it's one of the nicest cars I've ever seen, and I highly recommend if you can find them in the paddock here, if you're on site, and go put eyes on that thing. It's a really cool story, a really cool car.
Yeah, just a shame that it hasn't been on track a lot this weekend, understandably, but
yeah,
the weather has not been cooperating to help us out.
I think they were really looking forward to putting on a show in the dry. With they said they had it set at roughly 1,400 horsepower for this track, and they could turn it up if they needed to.
And it looks like as we continue through this drift session, again, we're a little bit behind in the schedule, so I'm not sure how long this one is going to run. But here's this BRZ we've been watching. He's been really aggressive, and that same will be true this time through turn 1. Look at the angle he's got, Charlie.
Now swing it back and stay in it.
We'll watch that paint, though.
Yeah, I think there's really something to hitting that corner right and getting in that pocket there, and it kind of let that camber of the corner carry you around. It seems if you get outside of it, it's almost undriftable.
Yeah, it's definitely a very single groove corner, even for the grip cars too. If you get out of that, there's really the racing line, and then as soon as you step beyond it and you jump over the camber, when it flattens out, it's just game over.
Yeah.
You really have to be in a very particular area. It's very I'm thinking of those Hot Wheel tracks, like the flexible Hot Wheel tracks that you like stitch together. It's almost like it's got bumpers on it, but the bumpers are not real.
It's like a road.
Yeah, basically that.
Okay.
It's just like as soon as you get out of it, there's just no grip. You just sail away.
Gotcha.
And if you get in it, you're on rails.
Little dirt drop there by the BRZ.
Yeah, he's gotten the left rear tire out there once or twice, and big commitment. Oh, over the curb, over the paint.
The angle this car has, though.
Oh, watch the come back this way. It's going to drift out, but he straightens it.
I think we're getting a couple more takers here as the session progresses a little bit. We did have a little bit of delay there from track repairs, so I did see a couple of these cars kind of get off grid and maybe go try and dry out a little bit.
Yeah, no point to sit there on pit lane if you knew it was going to be a couple of minutes. But
yeah, we're seeing it. I think this is one of the total loss BMWs.
Yep, looks like it. Into the bus stop. This section is really proving to be a pretty stout.
Yeah, you can even see all the fans over by the bus stop hanging out in the back of pickup trucks, cheering them on as they come through.
Yeah, the bus stop in particular is such an underrated spectator area. If you can get yourself up to see over the wall over there, it's a great vantage point.
Looks like they figured it out with some pickup trucks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and people build scaffolding over there. I mean, there's a good way to do it over on that side of the racetrack. The boot, too, is another great vantage point, but not sure how much sliding around. Here's the good news. I bet you their tire bills will be a lot less after this weekend.
Absolutely.
We didn't burn up 15 sets of tires
absolutely.
To drift at Watkins Glen.
It's one of the best ways to learn. Obviously not probably at Watkins Glen, but if you can go to a track that you're comfortable with and drive in the rain, all your consumables are basically non-existent. So you get, life out of those tires that you normally would kill in a couple hours.
I also know that the time attack drivers are like, wow, we're right after the drift session. There'll be marbles all over the place. No, there won't. And it doesn't matter because this track is slicker than a mirror covered in petroleum jelly. So
whoa,
at this
that's
point,
a new one.
it's just got no grip. So it doesn't matter where the marbles are on this track.
One.
Whoop,
the paint,
too much.
Spinning around.
Oh, grab it.
And just saved it.
Got it. Nice. A little too much. Spin like a top.
Like the commitment, though. That's what it's going to take to get around some of these corners.
And we've seen big commitment. The BRZ and the bus stop certainly gave it all he had.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a couple times we've seen him drop a tire over there.
Here he is again into turn 10. Whoa!
He probably just rolling on the throttle is probably doing that. Not even a clutch kick or anything.
Yeah, he almost wall tapped there. On the wall actually comes right up to the racing line. It closes in, and you turn away from it. But if you kick the rear end out, you could just drag a bumper there.
It'd be pretty cool to drag a bumper at Watkins Glen.
It really would be.
Be the only one to say that.
The blue paint.
Yet.
Usually, you're not trying to get blue paint on your car from this track, but it would be kind of a neat thing to add to your rear bumper on your drift car, certainly.
Let's see if he throws it in here again.
Yeah, I think his challenge has been being able to carry the drifts that he starts because of how snappy this chassis is. And it's a short wheelbase, Charlie. I'm surprised.
Short wheelbase, but you can see his fan entrance.
Yep, here it is.
Just weight transfer. You can see it just really wants to come around on him, so he's feeding a lot of power.
Yep.
Just wants to straighten back out.
Kicks it out again.
So I wonder if this is if they've been working on this car during every session, trying to get it to loosen up a little bit, and they just maybe can't get it quite figured out.
Yep. And there's so much setup that goes into getting these cars to drive like this. And the well-set-up drift cars will drive better sideways than they do straight.
Absolutely.
And this one is driving straight better than it is sideways.
Yeah.
But it could be the track, the combination of conditions that make a setup work at one track and not here. That it might work great somewhere else.
Like I said, I don't think anyone knows what's going to work here.
No.
This is just an experiment and finding out what's going to work and what's not.
The notebook is empty, and every session they've been writing a different page, trying to figure out, if we come back here, what setup changes do I need to make? What tune should I have in my engine? How much power do I need?
Yep.
Do I need 1,200 horsepower? Do I only need 600? Can I detune? Should I turn up the map and go for it? But everyone's learning, and they have been all weekend.
They've really been improving too. Just keeping it nice and tidy. This car sounds great.
It does sound the part here. And this outer loop has been, this is probably one of the longest drifts that you can sustain at any track. This is a super long corner.
I think you get right in that pocket and just zing you through.
And carry it all the way around.
A couple fans hanging out there getting some cool pictures.
Yep. As far as the rest of them, I think a couple of them have pulled on in. And I have not yet seen a checker, Charlie, but not a ton out there right now, so we might step away. Well, let's follow this guy around, and I think we'll call it after him as he works his way around course. I think he's the last guy out there from what I can tell. Might be one more sneaking around.
Yeah.
But into the outer loop, will he give it a go? Or
still a ton of people hanging out. We can see the top of the grandstands from where we're at, and there's a bunch of people up there enjoying a great view, I imagine.
Yeah, of the low-hanging clouds and the drizzle. But we've been dry and inside all weekend, which is okay. Collectively right now, you are and we are dry and inside. So we're doing great. I'm doing great.
Well, we're about to go get wet.
Yeah, well. So we're going to wrap things up here from Drift. I think all the takers that wanted to go have gone. They're going to get one more session later, but we'll be off stream. We do have our podium sprint upcoming, so we're going to step away. We'll be back later with the NOS Energy Track Battle Podium Sprint. Kyle Heyer with Charlie Ensign. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Thanks for having me.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast's choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
Owning a car can be expensive. It can also be confusing. What? And when things don't go right, there's no doubt it could be frustrating. But it can also be a lot of fun. And for those reasons, FC Puro exists. Check this out. Do you and your car a favor and head over to fcpuro.com to learn more.
Did you energize yet today? Time to NOS up. Get after it.
Hi, I'm Chris Forsberg, and when it comes to classics and high-performance cars, I only trust America's #1 racing oil, Valvoline VR1. It's built on Valvoline's long legacy in racing, so I can continue to build my own. With 2 times more zinc than the industry standard, VR1's high-performance formula is tested on the track and trusted on the road to ensure your engine is protected from metal-to-metal contact. And I use it so much, I haven't got my car on the bottle. That's why whether I'm racing or cruising, I protect everything I drive with Valvoline. Valvoline, trusted for over 150 years.